If you're watching this video on the NES YouTube channel, there's more information and useful links in the description below.
It's called I'm Not Just, and the idea behind that is the old saying of I'm just a cleaner, or I'm just a nurse, I'm just a consultant. No one is ever just anything, and I wanted to stamp out that negative stigma within the NHS. So I thought I'd add some of my personal photos for you, just so you can see as well that, as well as a nursing associate, I'm a fiance, I'm a friend, I'm a dog mum, I'm a daughter, and I'm sure some of you can relate to that as well. We're more than just our job titles. So what is the campaign really about? So I'm just going to share some of my background with you guys. I left school after my A-levels at the age of 18, and I had decided that university wasn't really the route for me, purely for the fact that I get really homesick and all I could cook back then was beans on toast. So I applied for various jobs, and the first job that I was successful for was a ward hostess on the wards at the hospital. So I was every patient's favourite person because I was in charge of the tea and coffee machine. I did that for about 3 years, and then I decided that I wanted to try something new. So I applied to become a housekeeper on the oncology unit, which is basically the role of being in charge of keeping everything stocked up equipment-wise on the wards, keeping everything neat and tidy. And I did that for about 6 months because I really missed the patient contact side of things. So I applied to be a healthcare assistant on the maternity unit, which I think is similar to your healthcare support worker roles. So this time I was back on the wards and I was caring for people face to face, which was what I'd missed on the wards. So because I was on the maternity unit, I was predominantly helping new mums adjust to parenthood, helping with feeding, and I loved it. I had no intention of doing anything else. I was happy doing that. And then one of my friends said that there was an opportunity to train to become a nursing associate. So it was like an apprenticeship route. So I just applied and I thought, oh, we'll see what happens. So long story short, I was accepted. And then I started my journey as a student for 2 years. So I was out in the community setting, I was on different wards, I was looking after children. And that's what you can see me as now in the photos, as a nursing associate after I qualified. So throughout all of those different routes that I went down, one of the things I realised was that people would approach me differently and offer different levels of respect depending on what uniform I had on. Now I was worthy of a hello and a conversation just because I was in the blue dress, but I'm still the same person as I all those years ago when I was serving teas and coffees. So I would like to do the poll, Vicky, if that's okay. I'd just like to see how many of you can relate to this, and have any of you had experiences like mine?
Okay, if you're having trouble using the poll, you can also use the chat. So the poll says, how many of you have experienced this? And the answers are, I have, or I have not. Oh, that's amazing.
So as you would expect, Lauren, there are a lot of I haves here, 90% of the people in the room.
Oh, wow. I can't actually see the poll just because I'm still on my phone here.
You can't see it, that's fine. So we've got 90% I have, 10% I have not, 63 responses.
Lovely, thank you.
There's still some responses coming in. Do you want me to keep it open for another wee couple of seconds, Lauren?
Yeah, can do. Thank you. So what did I do with the thoughts and ideas that I had about how I was feeling? So when I qualified as a nursing associate, my manager organised sort of a little induction day on the ward and invited people to come and talk and welcome us. And our matron gave a speech. And one of the things she said was, don't be scared to come and talk to me just because I'm in the purple dress, which struck a chord with me, and it got me thinking maybe this is the time for me to speak up and get rid of this stigma. And that's ultimately what led me to start the campaign. So that evening, I emailed her with the idea for the campaign, and she loved it, and she told me to contact my manager with my idea. And my manager was really on board with the whole thing. So we organised team days for everyone on our ward to attend in small groups, because this was still at the height of the pandemic. And maybe this is something that you guys could take back to your trust as well, because it was quite nice, just a little relaxed day for us all. So I invited groups of people from all different roles, all backgrounds. So we had pharmacists, we had admin staff, healthcare assistants, nurses. My CEO also came as well. And we had our chief nurse, and everyone was just sharing their experiences and their backgrounds. And the idea of this, I just hoped to get everyone to see that we're just as important as each other in the hospital, and the hospital wouldn't run without each and every one of us playing our part. So I designed the goodie bags that you can see in the photos on the presentation just there. And inside, everyone got a copy of the quote, pen. I did some badges and some sweet treats just to say thank you for everyone for attending. So all of you guys are all important, and your contribution through your job role means that patients are getting the best care possible, and you're helping the hospital or community or wherever you work become a place that we can feel confident in bringing patients ourselves, and even, you know, our mums, our dads, our aunties, our uncles. It also means that, as well as good experience for patients, as staff are creating a happy place for everyone to work, and everyone is respectful of each other. Does anyone want to ask questions before I carry on?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions in the chat. So we've got someone sharing an experience, Sharon McMillan, who's had to leave us, but she was told by a pupil, you're only a classroom assistant. So that's extremely upsetting that a child would be making that judgment in another setting. There's a question about the healthcare support worker title, that it doesn't do justice to the level of clinical skills we have, and it's a confusing title. So that's a question for a big question. A comment, I love the idea of goodie bags.
So Fiona Brody saying, I'm a qualified physiotherapist but gave up my registration to look after a sick family member, returned to work as a healthcare support worker with a view to registration. I'm a band 4 and have never been happier in my job and have no intention of moving up the ladder. I get respect from my colleagues across all levels, and it's helped me to appreciate the role everyone has to play, and I can do the job without the stress of a professional qualification. Win-win. Thanks, Fiona.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm a band 4 as well. I love it.
Michelle's asking, Lauren, did people volunteer to speak, or did everyone speak up when you held your I'm Not Just event? So how did people participate?
So I actually contacted them, and I just explained just a little bit about my idea, and then I invited them to come and speak at the team days. So yeah, it was only when I started the campaign that people started coming forward.
Excellent. There's one more question about how you did it. How did you manage to bring everyone together? I'd love to implement something like this, but I'm not sure everyone would go for it.
So I had a lot of support from my manager and my matron. So I would start with them if this is something that you want to pursue in your trust. And because of the pandemic, it was nice just to have time away from the ward and just to get to know each other on a personal level. So maybe organising, you know, team days like we did, I think that was a good starting point. I just I emailed everybody and waited for the people to respond that wanted to come. So I knew the people that showed up on the day really wanted to be there and take part.
Thanks. So it was the work that went into the prep that made that happen. Thank you.
So I just wanted to expand next on the impact the campaign has had so far, and give some food for thought. So I've been lucky enough, like I said, to have a lot of support from my manager, and my trust is made up of 3 hospitals. So I've visited all the hospitals in my trust so far, which is Peterborough, Stamford and Hinchinbrook. And together we went round all of the wards within those trusts to speak personally and discuss this issue with people on the wards doing the jobs. And this had a really positive impact, and we received positive feedback from this as well, which was really nice. My organisation as well has been really supportive with this, and they still continue to do so. It's nearly been a year since I started this now. So they have published my idea in the local trust magazine, which I've put on there for you to have a look at. I know it's a small print, but if anyone would like a copy of this, I'm happy to email it over. And my trust also includes this idea, which is also something that maybe you guys could take away from this as well, on the trust induction. So anyone new joining the trust or changing roles will be made aware of the campaign, which I hope will then empower them, whichever role they've chosen to do. And I've also, this isn't my first time virtually coming to Scotland. I came to Scotland and presented at the National Business and Administration Network last year. Alison Hall, who some of you may know, assisted me with this, and we received again some really great responses. And this was still at the height of the pandemic as well. We hadn't come out of lockdown or anything. And some of the feedback that we got was really sort of emotional, that the message had really resonated with them and got them thinking about the impact they make and how special each role is within the NHS. And I hope that this is the same for you guys and that you feel it empowered with the message that I'm trying to send. So I think you've already watched my video, haven't you? So that was going to be what I would have shared with you guys next.
Yeah, we've put the link into the chat as well, Lauren, so everybody can return to it if they want to.
Lovely, thank you. Does anyone have any feedback on the video? Because obviously I wasn't here, unfortunately, when it was shown.
Yeah, there was lots of feedback. It was very active. So if we scroll back up the chat to the beginning. Yeah. I'm still very interested in 90% of people in the call have experienced this.
It's really sad.
Yeah, so we've got Elaine Lauder, who's from our team. She's greeting happy tears. Suzanne Logan loved the video. It's awesome. From Anne Wallace. Great video from Tracy Sesford in the Borders. So a lot of love for the video. People wanting the links to be sent to them, and we'll put all of the links to all of the resources on the events resources page, so you'll get those as soon as we can turn that around. I think that's it.
Lovely, thank
Some
you.
people having to go for lunch and other things and saying they'll catch up with the recording.
That's lovely. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
So the last thing that I wanted to share was just that we have started up on Instagram and Twitter if anyone would like to follow and communicate with us that way. So on the next slide, I think I've got my usernames. So I'm on Twitter at I'm not just 3 and on Instagram at I'm not just _. And we're more sort of heavier promoting on Instagram rather than Twitter, but we do use both.
And we can certainly follow you on Twitter, and if you give us a follow back, then we'll be able to see each other's updates and retweet those. We've also been having quite a lot of traction on LinkedIn, which has been really surprising us this week. Yeah, we didn't expect to. We kind of played it as a wild card and said we'll do some stuff on LinkedIn, but actually it's worth considering because we've had a lot more interaction than we do, and there's lots more comments in the chat, so you're an inspiration, Lauren. I'm sure you'll continue to do great things.
Thank you everyone for listening. I'm really sorry about my connection issues at the beginning.